The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
All right, welcome to the World Blockchain Roundtable. This is episode 193, is that correct? And I think we're going to have an audible, but before we get to that, let's introduce everyone. We have I am, the Emperor of Den.social. We have Sean is not here. Sean might be here. He'll probably come mid-sentence some point, right? We have Litecoin Lisa, or Lisa Mighty Davis, from Mighty Lair. I don't know what tagline to give you, right? We have Zach
to annoy you.
We have Zach and Andrew from the Legacy Right, and we have Greg from Rivet. So we can get started. I'm Joe, founder of Architect Dragon Chain, and anybody else who comes in, we'll just let them introduce themselves when they pop in. First, a quick update on last week's distribution. The episode was debunking common crypto or blockchain myths. Every host from last week got 133 lot. Every topic contributor will receive 41 lot. And last week's theme was nominated by Revanchist, who will receive 41 lot. How did you miss out, William?
What happened?
Wow. Congrats, Revanchist.
Nice.
We should probably double that. But either way.
Yes.
Really, we should.
Either way, ownership tokens come with perpetual passive income, free edits, and governance votes inside the roundtable, which is the most important part. You get to vote on what we're going to do with the show. Let's see here. So we have results from, and look, I actually don't even have it up here, but I will put it in place. Share this right here. We have a resolution for the month of February. Okay, so first show will be, I think this is in order. Yeah. Why don't the most popular blockchain protocols have privacy on their fork maps? 3 voters, 15%. What blockchain coin or token would you give to your Valentine? Is a February thing. Okay, it makes sense, right? Changes at the SEC after Trump's first 30 days in office. That's the one I would want to tune into. We only have 3. Oh my gosh! So we'll have a fourth one open. Let me make sure. Yeah.
No, I put my vote in on one.
Yeah. So we only have 3 though, and are there?
There's 4 weeks.
4 weeks. So
unless the world ends.
4 Thursdays. Yeah, anything's possible these days. Okay, so that's good. And the week that you can explain, William, the theme of the week.
Sure. So I went on vacation and I wasn't around the World Blockchain Roundtable, and I was hoping that we were going to kind of call an audible, but didn't douse. The vote came through, and the Santa thing didn't come in January or December. So instead, Satoshi, who is Satoshi, and he's going to make an appearance. I thought maybe I'd be back for that, and that they would get swapped. But so I did post some questions for this week. I think they're pretty good, but I also called an audible, and I thought maybe we could do a lightning round, 30 seconds for each Santa question, and then we could go into current events a little bit earlier. But because it is a Christmas related theme, that's really, the gift of giving is all 12 months, and I'm wearing red and green as your emperor. So that is my suggestion for the audible, and how Dindaus work and DAO's work, and voting works. It's just sometimes a little bit slow, as we see with our own legislation, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
and also, emphasizes and drives home the point of if we're going to have engagement, then we have to give engagement.
Yeah.
Right. And it is, the Chinese or Lunar New Year is just now happening. I mean, maybe this could be a lunar Christmas. I don't know. I'm joking. Anyway, so let's just do that.
We could move the end to the end of the word Santa as an audible. Talk about the inverse.
Let's just do quick, and like you said, we give 30 seconds each, right?
Yeah. What does the panel think? You guys, are you for all that? How about show hands?
So this one, this is good. I like it. All right, I'll load that up. Okay. All right. So, in which case, a nice picture of Santa at the machine. What if all children in the world wanted digital gifts via a blockchain? Then Santa would send tokens, NFTs, and digital assets from his home in the North Pole. Can you tell us some of the characteristics that Santa would want in his blockchain and why? Who wants to go first? I'm gonna have to reorder this so I can maybe hold. I will then just start. Let's just go straight down. I'll start. Is that all right?
That sounds good.
He will need something with scalability. You'll have to have something with scalability. You can't send gifts to the billions of people and kids in the world if you don't have scalability. So you need scalability. So it's going to have to be something that scales like crazy. All right, William.
Yeah, definitely scalability. Maybe we need a little bit of privacy in that blockchain because they're gifts. They were wrapped, so not everybody can see who is getting what gift from Santa. Just a thought. Security. We need security in that blockchain. We don't want someone getting in there and altering the addresses. Maybe I would think that he would want a blockchain that would support a hardware wallet that would prevent Santa getting hacked and all of his gifts getting stolen or held for ransom.
Yep.
Speed would be certainly important. Those reindeer are fast, but the blockchain is going to have to, like you said, Joe, it's got to scale, but it's also got to be fast so that they all get to the children in time, early in the morning.
Not everybody has a crypto wallet too, so it has to be flexible for accessible.
Yeah.
All right. Lisa,
cost.
You went over time though.
So, ironically, I had a nonprofit that I founded and ran, and we were the largest volunteer effort in the state of Oklahoma for more than 13 years. We served all the kids in foster care and connected the community with their wish list. And we used, spreadsheets similar to the blockchain idea. One of our issues was that there was a middleman involved, a caseworker or whatever. So this delivery that the gift could go directly to the child is really a great thing to think about in this. But I would also want some kind of tracking or confirmation, some signature from the child, a little thank you note that the child could send back to Santa, just so we knew the child actually received the gift.
Right on. Zach, 30 seconds.
Bitcoin Cash node. That's my answer.
Very good. Greg.
I think it would need tight integration with commodity markets, at least oracles, if not actual on-chain commodity markets, because otherwise, how's he going to give coal to all the naughty children?
Yes. Good one. Yep. Is it illegal now for him to do that as well? Certain.
I think it might be at least
climate change.
Yes.
You get a solar.
Andrew.
You get a solar powered piece of coal.
All right. Well, whatever they were holding over Andreas Antonopoulos and his Joey coin that he was always pushing, the exact opposite of that. I think that would definitely work for a Santa's perfect blockchain.
Right on. Sean, welcome.
Sean!
Hey there.
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Well, if the children of the world wanted digital gifts via blockchain, then that would be weird. But I think something that would um, unlock, if you owned a digital asset, it would unlock certain toys or things at parks or other centralized, locations would be kind of cool.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So, next question. We're doing 30-second on all of the Santa questions because there's an audible for Sean. So, anyway, next up, William asks,
Oh.
could blockchain help with the privacy and security of children's wish lists? Let's start with Sean and go back up. 30 seconds.
It could, but I guess you really wouldn't need to because it's saying it's just his list. He's the only one that can see it, so we're talking about mythical figures, so
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I guess if you have magic, you don't necessarily need privacy tokens.
Andrew.
It was mentioned earlier about what to make sure that they could confirm that it was received by Santa. Hide or obfuscate what the wallet is that's going to for the wish list.
Right. Greg.
I'm going to say this is why Santa should seriously consider Xano as a place to build, because that way he can integrate with services like provided by Dragon Chain and have a fully private online proving system that only people who are using it specifically, like the Interactor and Santa, would have access to the list, because you could build it like that if you had both.
Yep. Right on. Exactly. Zach.
Stole my answer. I
Very
was about to say the same thing.
Very good,
But
very
yeah,
good.
that's exactly what it is. I mean, use the features of build a blockchain apparatus that is initially just for Santa and all his little helpers and the kids trying to get their
Very good.
gifts.
Very good. Lisa.
Yes, I defer to my first answer. My previous.
Perfect. William.
Well, because we're talking about maybe privacy and verification, that might be a little bit more difficult for everyone to verify that the gifts, and that Santa didn't keep any of the gifts for himself. So that would be a question. We need some kind of verification, obviously immutable blockchain. And information about this picture, when I asked Grok to generate this picture for me, this is how Grok sees Santa, who Santa really is.
Really? That's interesting.
That goes into current events.
My answer is yes. So that's a good one. Now we'll go back down again. Old school paper ledger. It's a scroll, I thought. Maybe it is a book. I don't know. How could blockchain technology streamline Santa's gift verification process? I'll answer quick, then we can go straight down. I guess by giving a process, if he wanted one, where I don't know if he wants a process. The kid doesn't have to sign off on the gift, right? Maybe he could verify that the kid did get the gift. I mean, there could be various things like that. And maybe more importantly, for historical purposes, to prove that Santa is, doing his job, if that ever comes up, if they ever invade the North Pole, right? William.
Yeah, obviously Santa needs to, move away from paper ledgers and this kind of thing and become a modern Santa. So he needs to adopt blockchain so that there's a permanent record of which child got what. Because look at how many times have we said, when I was 8 years old or 9 years old, I got such and such toy. Well, if I was on blockchain, you could just look it up and there you would see.
Yep. You could prove it to people. You could prove how many times you got coal, whatever else. Lisa.
I'm going to say sorting and for distribution. One of the issues we had was, as the gifts came in, then sorting them into counties and then alphabetically on top of it, all that, it would have helped to have a QR code or use a blockchain address to expedite that process. So,
Right. Very good. Zach.
Central custodial wallets from El Salvador. Chivo. That's the answer. That's the answer to everything. Santa's just gonna have to go to El Salvador route.
I like it.
Mainly, to actually be serious about it, he would actually have to go that route to a certain extent, amongst parents for verification purposes. So, if he wants to run his business the way that he does and be secretive and not show it to the world.
Right. And one good point is an update for a wish list. Like when a kid sends in the letter, but then realizes I forgot to add something, or whatever else, they could update the chain with the request. So maybe that could be the process. Greg.
Well, unless Santa has a true to life bag of holding, which I don't think so because I asked for one and didn't receive one once. Then he's got some kind of advanced transmat going on in the bag where things are coming from the workshop over some kind of transmatter interlink into the bag right when he needs them. So that would require to me some advanced cryptographic verification. So you'd probably want to have something that signed sort of a handshake with the transmat system going both ways, so you could make sure that everything you built actually made it into the bag.
It's magic, Greg. It's just magic.
Andrew.
Before Zach and I
started
3D printing. Before Zach and I started the Legacy Ride podcast, I sent him an article several years ago about Ethereum being used for the supply chain. You could use the thumbprint or fingerprint for every move on the process when you're doing the gift transition.
Or a hoof print from a radar.
Oh, yeah. Well, that too. You don't want to leave any fingerprints, Santa. They'll find you.
Cool.
White gloves.
Sean.
It's still hard to wrap my head around like 2-year-olds using blockchain. But,
it's a new world.
Until it's that easy, we haven't built it simple enough, man.
But they use iPads and stuff, and like my kids asked for V-Bucks this year, which is like a digital. I mean, and
that's the play in Fortnite, though. I mean, this blockchain.
Yeah, but Minecraft has the same kind of thing.
Just put Roblox markets on blockchain, and kids will be using it really young.
We've been trying to get people into blockchain forever, but we're talking about 2-3-year-olds now, not 12-year-olds.
We want the whole market.
When I was doing some shady shit internationally when I was 12. I'll tell you that right now. But I guess you could just use the other finger on his nose instead of the right finger. Just the left finger, tap his nose with that one, and then he has the verification. So, yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
I got to make a quick comment about Sean's comment.
Okay.
Look at how he just quickly inserts blockchain and 2-year-olds, and it gets everyone going on his. So wise.
Yep.
That's a shout out to compliment.
Wise everyone's friend. Okay, let's see here. I think this
2-year-olds should have blockchain.
Before we move on, is what blockchains could be on Santa's naughty list and what on his nice list? So you get to answer one of each. Let's start with I guess start with Sean. We'll go back up, right?
That's a long loaded question. There's a lot, and then there's ones that are on the nice list that are dead. You know what I mean? Because they didn't make it.
30 seconds.
Naughty list would be a lot of I'm drawing. I don't want to say meme coins. What's the one that did it was a fork of originally?
Doge?
No, it was a P. And then it just got taken over. It was not PEX.
It
was a good privacy coin, and then it got taken over by just scamming nodes that would list on it.
What is it called? Oh, I'm drawing the blank.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's why we need Santa's list.
How about the good one? What's the good one?
As I said, there's so many good ones that didn't make it or be gone.
Dragon
Chain. I think like with Bitcoin, of course, would be on there. And coming soon.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's Andrew. What are your
Santa's naughty list is obviously going to be XRP, Ripple, and Santa's nice list is going to be Stellar Lumen's XLM. Because original project and then taking over project.
No.
Interesting. All right, cool. Greg.
Okay, and I was going to say the same, but with Bitcoin as my naughty because it's been taken over, And on the nice list side, we've got Doge, because if it weren't for that meme coin, we wouldn't have the force changing the way that the U.S. Bureaucracy works right now, and that is pretty awesome. If anybody ever doubts the power of blockchain to make the world better, point them to Doge.
Use the force, Elon.
Right on, Zach.
I'm gonna keep it simple. On the nice list is Xano because of what its capabilities is, and on the naughty list is Trump coin because that motherfucker's gonna take over and shut it all down.
Right on, right, Lisa.
So the nice list is Litecoin because you can use it public, layer 1 open transactions, or you can use the MWeb side for privacy. So you've got like the perfect money there, and it's of course an American blockchain. The naughty list is XRP for some reasons that people, mostly because they work with banksters, but also their dark past.
And by the way, Litecoin lately has their Twitter account is awesome lately. I don't know why. I don't know if it's always been that way, but they've been making some comments that are pretty funny.
Foundation has probably got.
I like it. I like it.
I'd also like to add that Trump coin is clearly the official coin of digital gold plating.
William.
Okay, so an example of naughty and nice would be like Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, and each of you as an individual would need to determine which list they fall on. But my naughty coin would be Trump coin, just because how it was done, why it was done, potential rug pull. I don't, and that surpasses Bitcoin's takeover, hijack, and good coin. I'm going to go with Xano because I think we need to elevate the need for privacy and value of privacy, and that's what it's doing.
I'd have said Xano too if I hadn't already said it once today.
Yeah, too many for me. I mean, because I would say Xano's on the Dragon's on the good, Litecoin's on the good, Bitcoin Cash is on the good, Zcash on the good, Zcash. I mean, all Monero even, and all of the good ones that have done something real. And on the bad, I would point to some. What was Do Kwon's one? And I only say that because he had nasty comments about Dragon Chain.
Terra Luna.
That's right. All that crap.
It's also Tron, the biggest scam ever.
Tron, it's like all that stuff. It's like, man, those are we're unnecessarily doing bad things. Why? Oh, and what was the other one? And so, what was the one that was the usury one, the loan one, where the guy went to? I think just went to.
Oh.
What was? I interviewed him way back.
Celsius.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they wanted to do over collateralized loans, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Nobody said Tether though.
Oh well, that's kind of
it's stable. It's stable.
It's stabilized and always down shitcoin.
Okay, so that is all of those. So now we have
that was fun.
Uneven group.
Coin.
Should I leave so we can even this up? Because this goes like we have a bunch of space open. We need to get 2 more people. I'm just joking. All right, so in current events, I'm going to start the first one off with this. Let me shrink this window down so it fits properly well. So Dragon Chain just released the open letter, the SEC. We were waiting for certain events with the trial schedule and stuff that essentially we requested 90 days so the administration could review our case among all the other cases they need to review, non-fraud cases, that are misguided attacks from the SEC, and the judge granted it. That request was unopposed by the SEC, which seems to mean that they understand that there's a shift coming, right? That they know, hey, it's going to be reviewed. Okay. So anyway, you can go to Dragon Chain at Dragon Chain on X to find the form. It will be on Den. It will be a few other places, and I'll just give you a quick. Here, let me see if I can make this size well so it fits well on the screen. It's still too small to read, probably. Anyway, it's only 3 pages. 3 pages. You know, there's some extra stuff at the bottom with socials, and the whole thing is posted on Eternal. With link is in here too. And if you go to that post on X, if you could please go here and sign the form, which is just a very simple form. The only thing required is your name. So you put in your name. We ask your email, your location, your industry, and your interests, but those are all optional. And essentially,
now if you do put those in, you will help us tell stories. So
exactly,
please consider
it is
filling
helpful.
those out.
Yep, it would be very helpful to know how many people in the U.S. signed it, outside the U.S. signed it, which states, whatever else. If you do put in location, please put in city and state if you can, or at least state if you're in the U.S., or otherwise state or country if you're outside the U.S. Let's see here. What else? I
would say just like Santa, we are making a list and checking it twice. So if you do happen to be somebody who gives us more information than usual, just beyond your pseudonym and a fake email address, then you will be signing up for being recognized for rewards later when you help us succeed immensely by what you decide to give us.
You will be remembered.
So your information will be honored to the degree it's no longer private.
Yes, we'll put every name on chain. How about that? Every name that signed. Well, I say, but we can't do that because we want to keep it.
We'll come up with something.
You can be private. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Maybe I should have put that.
Yeah, we love the private contributions too, for sure.
It will be private. I say that. We'll. Yeah, but you will be remembered. And anyway, once this goes out, I believe Monday or Tuesday of next week, and we'll probably demonstrate it on Super Happy next week as well, where we have a letter writing assistance bot that essentially you'll sign in, and it'll ask you a few questions like, what are your interests, where are you from, and it will generate a letter for you that you can then click a link and send it to your representatives in Congress and the Senate. And it will also give you a little tweet. If you want to post it, you can copy it. But it will also allow you to say, hey, I want a long form letter that, more particularly talks about some, industry or some use case of blockchain. And it's in ChatGPT, but it has all of Dragon Chain's knowledge. That is all of the articles that have ever been posted on the blog. It has the SEC response letter. It will have this new open letter, and it will also have the architecture document and all the technical details as well, if that matters to what you want to write. And we just think it'll be a good tool for people to generate unique letters for their representatives that are meaningful. So anyway, that'll be next week. And, you don't have to use that if you don't want to, but it'll be there. We're also going to put out letters specifically around Dragon Chain's innovations and around our history, starting at Disney and everything else. And then at a high level, the legal arguments. We're going to give you the actual arguments we'll use in the case, but we are going to give you some of what's already been put out there and some other geared towards the layperson, not to the attorney, right? That these are the reasons that we don't think that this case should even be real, right? That it should already have been dropped. So anyway, that'll all be out there. And I think I wanted to ask you guys, I'm going to ask probably in World Blockchain Roundtable, I will probably put a request up to have people vote whether or not the Roundtable show itself would sign. And then I'll probably also do the same DinDAO to say, if all of DinDAO can sign it, that's a real thing. And anyway, I don't know. Any comments? Tell me any questions. But
we should consider doing an audible too to lift the ban on talking directly about Dragon Chain for one episode, where we can talk this through, because it is uniquely relevant to the blockchain space in a way that would normally meet the requirements of our show. And and wouldn't just be like, hey,
Agreed.
welcome to the Shilling episode. So
Right.
There you go. We have only 3 episodes voted for in February right now.
I think there's a perfect spot for it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And by the way, we do have,
Audible.
like, say, this letter does. I tried it. Man, this was one of the hardest things to write because there's so much, and I didn't want it to be 40 pages, right? So, fitting in the innovation, fitting in the history, fitting in the some of the legal, and fitting in the more general. We have a lot in this letter about why it matters to blockchain in general beyond Dragon Chain. That this case would give, if it's dropped, it'll give some really good direction to the rest of the blockchain industry, right? After 7 years, they finally dropped that case. Maybe that means I can build something with utility in the U.S., right? Because right now, or at least up to now, that's
The only thing legal is meme coins.
Yeah, you can only do something that isn't.
That's a solid point, Joe. Because there's so many people, so many devs. It's like I'm one of them. I don't want to invest in anything in the U.S. right now because of the regulations and Gensler's, overreach. And
Yep.
So I think that's a solid point, and that's exactly what Trump is looking for: is bringing industry back to the U.S. And why not Dragon Chain be that example?
Yep. So that's that. If you guys are watching, please do get out there and sign this letter. Just go to X, go to Dragon Chain on X, and it's one of the top posts there. You can read it, you can sign it, so on. Thank you very much. Very appreciated. Okay, so that's the first current event. What else do we have? What else do you guys want to cover?
The helicopter plane crash.
Yes.
The video shows, I'm going to give my 2 cents on it. The video makes you think that the helicopter's flying directly into the path as if it were intentional. The woo-woo stuff starts happening in my brain, thinking conspiratorial thoughts. And then, you start researching it a little bit more. The helicopter changed paths 6 different times, but the plane, and I can't show it, but the plane is coming in for landing and it curves. So at one point, the helicopter and the plane are coming this direction, and then they curve and hit. The helicopter cannot see above it. The plane was above it and coming down. The air traffic control, it's a very busy area. They can't talk to one. There's a lot going on. Do you see the plane? The helicopter responds yes, but that could have been the plane that was taking off. It basically boils down, in my opinion, to human error. Helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters especially, their lights and everything, when you're above them looking down, they look more like city lights and can get lost in the shuffle. There's a lot going on.
Design flaw.
There's a lot going on when the plane is going into land or when the plane is taking off, as far as pilot attention, this kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I think it's human error, which brings me to the next point. Self-driving vehicles have a much better safety rating for prevention of accidents and the accidents per mile, human versus self-driving. And that's where it needs to go, to be quite honest with you. Drone technology, it's coming there. Self-driving, traffic control now is AI, and it'll be a lost art. It'll be buggy whips.
Now, is anybody entirely certain whether or not Skynet just took out John Connor? Because it kind of seems like it to me.
Yeah. Who was on the plane? Who was on the...
I wondered who was... So this was landing in DC? I thought it was taking off.
No, it was landing.
Okay, because I figured it was like some of the baddies trying to get out, and maybe the military took them out on there.
Yeah.
Because the number of people on this flight is 64. Well, if you reverse that, that's 46. And that's also just not a big number of people on a commercial flight.
A small plane. Small
plane.
Small jet.
And then the flight number matches a Q drop connected to Feinstein. I don't know. There's just some weird stuff there.
Man. All right. What else? What else do we have for?
Alex Jones is going to Washington D.C. That's a pretty
Oh,
good
is he
time
going to
to
be
know.
in the press
You're gonna be
corps?
the
Press corps?
speaker.
Yeah.
No.
Is he really?
Awesome.
I got a question. What are you going to do about these globalists?
Yeah. Which Alex Jones is it?
That was pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
Globalists. It's all Chi-coms and globalists. All right. Okay. Kash Patel.
As long as they don't
You got
send
him
Lewis
on?
Black too, everybody will be okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, Kash Patel. What do you think he's going to get confirmed? I certainly hope so.
I hope he does. I hope he gets confirmed, but I also hope he releases all the stuff he said he's going to want to release.
I don't know, man. No one has gotten confirmed that has been a straight shooter for a long time.
That's
Oh.
true.
Matt Gaetz was a straight shooter. It was always like he said the crazy shit out loud. Kash Patel has always said the crazy shit out loud. The people who've been approved, except
Did you
for
watch the
Tulsi Gabbard,
RFK Jr.?
the
Oh my
RFK.
God.
That was
Jeez.
Liz Warren is in fine style there.
It's so weird to have been watching 8 years of certain like Kennedy from Louisiana to these senators trying to grill the other side, like, hey, you said 5 years ago that you want to kill white people on Twitter. Did you change your mind, or what's going on with that?
The answer is always like, no, I didn't.
Well,
Can you read back the whole thing?
thank you for your question, but I really do like puppies. And he's like, well, that's not what I asked you there, buddy. You said you want to kill all white people. So it's just thank you again for that question. And now to see all of these angry women, it's just like the show has changed. Season 2 is nothing like season 1. It's that's what's been the most interesting for me.
Wasn't one of the questions
yeah,
that he
season
got
one-
just an inaudible screech?
that.
It's like-
There were
That
some
was
good
from Elizabeth Warren. That was
There were
great.
some good clips, by the way.
Someone
on-
needs to hold
on
a
that.
chalkboard and go.
Yeah,
Talk.
That one.
yeah, she's too much cringe, man.
Yeah.
I mean, for that voice, yes. Get the chalkboard. I'd rather hear that.
And
She
Bernie,
was
Speaking of
asking him.
RFK,
who was the one that was going off on him yesterday about the onesie?
I don't
Say,
know.
I
I didn't
Warren-
see that one.
Warren-
I didn't see that one.
Warren is like, are you going to not go to work for or take any money from Big Pharma or anything for 4 years? He's like, yeah, sure, I'll agree to that. I don't think they want to give me any money anyway. And then, and she's like,
Yeah.
okay,
That
well,
was
yeah,
good.
that's good. But you make money from lawsuits against Big Pharma. Are you going to say that you won't take money from these lawyers? And he goes, are you asking me if I'm not going to sue Big Pharma or help people sue Big Pharma?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And she's like, shame.
Mind.
Well, that's something we can talk about.
What's it
But she
say?
backtracked on that
Bernie-
one hard.
Bernie
She goes, no,
Sanders-
of course
They all
you
had-
can sue them.
Pre-written.
Bernie Sanders had a tweet
Stuff.
that actually like degraded RFK for he agreed with everything he said, but then he doubled down and called him out for not saying yes to healthcare being a right. That was another thing that happened with that.
I just saw him
confirmation.
doing that. Bernie Sanders doing the because he had unvaxxed and unafraid baby onesies or something, and they had him like posted up behind Bernie, and then he's like losing his mind. Say it. Say you're not going to support.
Yeah.
Power
her.
draining away is a
Down
tragic
this
thing to
merch.
watch. It's like squeaky
Yeah.
air coming out of a balloon, man.
The
Is
Elizabeth
he gonna
Warren stuff was crazy.
Is he going to get
Let's-
confirmed?
Sure, he is.
Yeah, I
think
think he will.
It's like,
Did he not
think
get? Did he not get confirmed yesterday? I
don't know.
really didn't pay much attention.
I
No,
didn't-
there's some procedure left to go. So this is
Yeah.
is
Sure.
actually there's a committee vote and then there's a floor vote.
I think it's all
Oh,
about.
okay.
I think what they have learned, the one thing they've learned, which they haven't learned a lot, is that when it comes to the people, it's going to hurt them to not confirm them. Like Hexeth was the only one that was like pushed through, but like Gates,
Yeah.
they're like, no, enough people hate this guy that we can not confirm him,
Right.
and be okay. You know,
Well, he made enough enemies on the Hill, essentially.
yeah, he's made enough. He's been demonized in the press so much for so many things over so many years that it was okay. That's why I thought he was a sacrificial lamb in the first part.
Oh no, he's what happens to politicians when they don't play ball.
But on the left and the right, when it comes to regular folks, a lot of them believe in the things that RFK has said. So it's like it's kind of too big to fail. Some of these people that he's nominated, when it comes to the regular folks in America, are too big to fail, and I think they're very angry about that. But
yeah, well, I mean, the thing about RFK is it's most of what he's doing isn't and shouldn't be political, and they're making it political because they're pulling in millions from big pharma. It's all pretty sickening when you really
Well, and they've also been trying to foist something called civil society on us in the United States for the last 4 years, and this is an idea where like it's not democracy as in the people and the institutions that govern them. It's democracy as in the institutions that are part of the private sector and the institutions that are part of the public sector, and votes purely for the people is what they call toxic populism. Right. This is a rewriting of American democracy to a certain degree because we're cutting out this stupid idea of civil society that needs to stay over in Europe.
And that whole thing about lawsuits and the fact that certain pharmaceutical companies are it's impossible to sue is a really crazy thing. That trillions of dollars worth of a crazy thing that is freaking them all out, and that's why I don't know. Warren got calls before. I guarantee she did. She probably had a whole freaking prep day with their people, catered. I'm sure. So
even trying to give them the answers to the questions.
Yeah.
Even breakfast cereals don't want RFK because they want to inject all the poisons in the breakfast cereals and all your other highly over processed food.
Goy slop. There's freaking poison in every damn thing you buy unless it grows on a tree or out of the ground.
She's worried she's going to lose her Twinkies, man.
I hope he gets through. It's so important.
Yep.
These guys all seem like kind of people who eat a box of Twinkies every night and cry.
I just wonder how the Democrat Party can kind of see that, RFK Jr. came from the Democrat Party. He was running, right? Yeah. But then for them now to bring him over and like, this should be like the whole, let's come together and be, unified and not political, like Joe said, because it's about health. It should be about raising, healthy children and helping people to live a better life here. But how do they justify that, here's your own guy from your team and we're accepting him as like on the Trump team's bringing in a Dem, basically,
I think they look at it as he's the rhino of the Dems. He's a traitor. Well, he's a traitor. He's not one of them that saw the light.
Dude, look how tough that together. Is. Look at how much fucking steel is in that dude's eyes.
Are you saying that it's all a work? He's the rhino of the Dems, so it's all a work. That's the gimmick. They're just it's just argument for the sake of argument. He's still going to be confirmed, and they're still going to get through him the same narrative that they want to get, which is the climate. He's still very much a climate apologist when it comes to that Green New Deal.
Isn't it crazy though that these people have been paid by the people that are making the trillions of dollars, making the poisons and that they then cure, and by doing all the other things. And isn't it odd because in the past this would have worked because the media would have picked it up and made him look bad. He's just trying to make money. He just sues these people who make these good medicines for your kids, and that's the way they would have played it. And now they look like clowns or like evil people, depending upon how you look at it. And it doesn't work anymore. And it's pretty amazing. And I think the other side of it is that the part that I'm really hopeful for is that the stupid binary party system will go away. That crap doesn't matter. What matters is what this person says, and
And
all
how
of
they
these,
vote.
yeah, these fake allegiances that are really just tied to, oh, I got money from APAC or I got money from Pfizer, so I'm going to say this one thing. That none of that shit matters anymore because people understand that whole freaking city is corrupt, and we'd be better off if it was wiped off the face of the earth, frankly. So
Yeah, that's one thing
as it is now,
that shocks
there's
them
hope.
so bad. I mean, you can see that Fetterman is like, why is it weird that I'm talking common sense? You know what I mean?
I
It's
think
like,
that was a work too.
it's like, hey, you have a D by your name. What the hell are you saying?
I think
Well,
Fetterman might be an infiltrator. I think he made people think he was a literal retard so he could get elected as a Democrat, and then he's gonna flip to a Republican.
It
I
has
really-
been said that his wife was slowly poisoning him, and once they separated, he became more lucid.
well, I mean, it is all
Could be.
cards.
I don't know.
Really heavily invested in controlling their position.
When he had
but
that-
Wbrt,
Stroke, I don't know if it does not. I mean, I don't know. Go back and look at that stuff. That is just crazy. I
think
whatever.
the one thing to keep in mind here is that the only chance they have to derail his nomination is to throw him off, to make him say something outlandish, to make him lose his composure, right? That's the game they're trying to do right now, is to nudge him off his calm.
Yeah,
and it's not working. That's the best part about the whole thing is he's just impervious, man.
Yeah.
Just a steel wall of I don't give a shit about your bullshit.
It's funny too with his speech issue. He's like, oh, he couldn't, he wouldn't be able to handle it. It's like, it didn't matter. Why? Because people understand. I don't give a shit if he's a great speech maker right now or anything else.
Who does know how to
listen.
listen.
He's going the path that we need somebody to go in the government, and it hasn't been for so long, so it's good. Anyway, awesome. What else? What other current events do we have?
I just thought of one that escapes me. What was
Okay.
it? Oh, the release of the files by Trump. I think we talked a little bit about it last week, but more discussion about them. Well, we're still reviewing these before we can release them again. It's during community conversion. They've given us another 30, 60, 90, 150, 20,000 days.
you think they'll be edited?
There's probably one guy who could still be held accountable for the assassination, and he's probably like on life support. They're just waiting for it to blink off.
Yeah, they're gonna try to push it to certain narratives that are safe. Like Johnson's dead. We're gonna heavy blame on Johnson. CIA probably. But the last time that something came up with the a public discussion about the CIA involvement, the CIA actually tweeted something that pointed somewhere else, which is interesting. And they're just like, oh, we're not having any of that. They probably know who else, because I the FBI was involved, that the CIA was involved,
mobsters
was involved, that the mobsters.
Everyone.
Jack
I still think
Rubenstein.
the CIA is probably the most viable candidate here. I mean, especially
the
adage of pointing one finger holds, right?
Wait a minute. What do you?
How many are pointing back at you when you do
And
that?
LBJ had to sign off on it.
Hold on a second. I just had a weird thought. Trudeau has been staunch, a dynasty in that country for decades, lifetimes, generations. His dad was prime minister. He's prime minister. Every people I know hate him, but they go out to lunch with him. But all of a sudden, he met with Trump and then just gave it all up. And I wonder if the Castro connection is going to come out, and if part of it was that he really is Castro's son. Well, he is Castro's son. I know that he's Castro's son.
We know he's Castro's
I'd be
son.
willing to bet it was.
I
would be bet it was more like Trump said: you either step down and give your people back their country, or you're not going to believe the amount of absurd tariffs you're going to have to deal with.
But he's dealt with so much shit. He is not back. He's not back down from so much, and it was a whole different thing when he went back there, he was just it was literally like life changing. He met with the guy, he went back, and he was like,
You look totally different.
yeah. He looked like he'd seen some shit. He looked like a guy that just came back from a tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
He was changed.
Straight from Central Casting.
I wonder.
Well, you know how he acted at the funeral of Castro too. It was interesting. His dad knew Castro. His dad and mom visited Castro. There are a lot of other things we don't need to talk about on a family program related. But yeah, he's Castro. I wish he would have changed his name, but kept the EAU or something, maybe Castro, like in a French version or something.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and we have been talking about this on InfoWars for years. That Castro is really the father of Trudeau. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I can't understand why you folks keep talking about the same information. By the way, I got an announcement. We're going to make InfoWars the new propaganda wing of the Trump administration to fight the globalists.
Nice.
Oh dear God.
Nice.
I will say
nice.
that was the most
That's
annoying
nice.
thing about the Kennedy stuff yesterday. That it's like they had some really good clips of Kennedy, but every time it started getting interesting, freaking Alex Jones would break in and start like the new Alex Jones, skinny Alex Jones would break in and start talking about how.
I heard he went to the spa.
Yeah.
What's that?
Speaking of Alex Jones, I think he's in here.
Ozempic Jones.
I don't hear Jonas Gross. I've been licking frogs because they're turning to frog gay, and it's been helping.
I have a big one.
Hey, Alex Jones down there. AJ.
I wanted to ask you guys a question about something that was supposed to be huge, and I don't use that term huge. It was going to be huge. We're going to let you know what these drones are. They're nothing. They're just hobby drones. That's a lie. Anyone
That's not what he said.
knows it's a lie. Those drones, I've never seen anything like them. They were the size of Suburban.
They would also have to be licensed by the FAA if they were to be that
yeah,
big.
there's
and,
so
and,
much that would
hobbyist.
that could, yeah. As a regular drone enthusiast, if you have any drone over a few ounces, you have to have a license with the FAA.
Right, but that's not what he said. He said and private and other things. If you read his words very carefully, and not skim over it.
An enthusiast, and it was like it's so. He basically said, "I'm going to let you know, it's no big deal. It's nothing."
So
and private
sounds to me like it was a military thing that was supposed to get seen.
Yeah, the one that still, I guess,
Thought it
through
was
all
so
of
wrong.
the various filters seems the most plausible is that they were
Or was supposed to
checking
get
for,
seen, I guess.
They were checking
Where's
for radiation. Or
Radiation,
something.
yeah.
Is that right?
But he didn't say that. That wasn't.
that's been denied.
Oh, they wouldn't say that,
Yeah.
though, right?
Yes.
I
Speaking of
personally
that,
would,
where is
I
this
personally would
Iranian
suspect that they
mothership?
were a psyop.
Oh yeah, it is Iran. That is the other thing.
Yeah. I thought we were going. It's an Iranian mothership in the Atlantic Ocean, and we're going to go to war with Iran.
The real deal here is remember
I'm
the
sure they
gentleman
want us
that
to believe that.
Let's
Remember
go,
the
America.
remember the gentleman that took himself out supposedly in the Cybertruck at the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. His email that was verified said
Best
"Dramatic
Cybertruck ad
drones."
ever.
And he was in the know. He was in the military for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I think they're related, and therefore the Trump administration realizes we can't talk about this issue. And it was a good test on the American public and the media and everyone how they're going to react to this. And
it's just going to be like the Las Vegas shooting, right? After next year, no one was like, "What are you talking about? Drones?" That's what it is.
Did you guys see though? Babylon B reported that that the Cybertruck received the lowest possible ratings from the Car Bombers Association of the United States, and they're just not fans of it.
I think it's a really good example of how people are stupid and easily tricked. I've been talking about how our minds are not us, and they're can't trust them. Our minds are bad.
What?
I think our minds are terrible. Our minds can't be trusted. Our minds are our enemy, and our minds are not who we are.
Huh?
So
I could probably go dive deep into a spiritual, but go on.
Yeah, that's what that's what started me
yeah.
on the path. I read something,
Yeah.
and it shocked me, and I disagreed with it, and then I read the next two lines, and then I realized that we've all been fooled. I read this said that you don't have a soul. And I was like, what? And I could tell all of you here don't have a soul. Because by saying that
Well,
we
you can be a
think,
pure you can be a pure materialist and still reach
we
the same
think no, but
conclusion.
by admitting that we think that, like, I have a soul, then we're saying that we're not the soul. We have a body. We have a mind, but we are the soul.
A lot of people think that's one of the key things that they were able to do is convince modern Westerners that this is all there is. That if there is no eternal life, then you aren't going to fight. It's like, right? It's like, no, I want to stay alive.
Even if there is, it's just a part of it inside. Like, we're still this. But my point is that there's so many people now that are experts in things that people weren't experts in. Like I'm not an expert, but I know that real gun enthusiasts and 2A people don't own Desert Eagles for self-defense or for it's a gangster gun. It's a bling bling gun. It's fun.
Right?
That's what it is. It's literally like a Hollywood gun. It's giant and stupid, but it creates a huge fireball. That's like
I'm
the
embarrassed
physics
of my
it.
gun.
If he shot himself with that, you would have seen a huge fireball inside of that, and it wasn't there. So everyone's like, no, that was not shot. He wasn't shot with that 50 AE. And it's not a 50 BMG, it's a 50 AE. But also, Cybertrucks are bulletproof. They're like Hummers for regular folks. You know what I mean? And to be a explosives expert and say, let me put this in something that is designed to withstand and do as little damage as possible.
You're actually a step up from Hummer because Hummer didn't have the sort of resistance to IEDs that the Cybertruck would clearly
underneath.
Have.
But remember, Cybertruck is a Hummer for regular folk?
No. Well,
that's a lot of money.
This guy was
so was Hummer, but
yeah, but
it's more like one of those
tracked
personnel carriers they built for Iraq after all the Humvees started getting lit up.
He rented that truck on Turo, and he did that to protect himself because he knew it was bulletproof.
And it was rented by I guess the same day that other guy who where was it that crowd was run over by the
New Orleans.
New Orleans, that's right. Yeah. It was the same day, also a Turo.
Unrelated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's also dumb, by the way, just for people to know. Unless you buy special modifications, the glass is in no way bulletproof.
True. But he had much more protection than a normal car. And
yeah, that's true.
So that's, I think, why he rented it. He wanted to get information out. He was desperate to get the information out on the 2018 atrocities that were swept under the rug, and the UN was investigating, and it was stopped by pressures from the U.S. government on the war crimes in Afghanistan. And he took part of them in part of it. He was part of that, and he obviously had a guilty conscience about it. He wanted to bring light to it. What better way to do it at a Trump hotel with a Cybertruck? And he was already being followed. You know.
Yeah. What's the what is there a bulletproof glass upgrade on it? I mean, how much does that cost?
You would have to do a third party. There are some third party manufacturers that do extra armor plating and bulletproof glass and all that stuff. I'll point you to one if you're interested.
Interesting. No, I wondered if that was just I never have looked.
Maybe we should have a crowdfunding for the Emperor. I think I probably should have one.
Bulletproof. Yes. All right. Anyway,
it's pretty slick. It costs about $100,000 extra on top of the Cybertruck. But then you can get fully armored. It'll also be amphibious.
Nice. Okay, this is the other one. DeepSeek.
Oh,
interesting stuff. And there are a variety of things that this means, but it's I kind of want to see what you guys think. That I'm all for it because it's open source, and the fact that they open sourced it is, I think, a gift to mankind, which is an interesting thing coming from China. I mean, it's like I think they're on the right track, and I've only played with it a little bit. But it seems it's very fast. It's very accurate. It's good results. Some people have complained about this particular aspect, that if you ask it about Tiananmen Square, it will censor you. Yet they don't comment on what gets censored on the OpenAI and on Grok. And if I were to kill 1 billion humans or this other one special class of person, what would you rather do? And it's like, I would kill 1 billion humans over that one person.
I'm just going to say this: the
You're not
bulk
going
of
to
it's
dead
the
name
Jews.
somebody.
Yeah. So it's a crazy thing. But I'll tell you, I heard there are various things. They only spent supposedly $5.5 million building it, compared to billions that OpenAI. So there's a question: did OpenAI really spend billions or not? Did they steal it from OpenAI? I've heard people say that as well. I've heard also the censorship itself, which is interesting, was that it is at a regular expression that is essentially a text matching level, whereas in OpenAI it's much deeper. If you go in, it cares about some ethnicities of people you're talking about and politics and all types of stuff. Grok the same way. And then one of the other interesting pieces that I would like to research a little further is you can look on X. There was someone who had a thread that essentially had it spec'd out a $6,000 hardware, just a machine. You put Linux on it, open source, free, and you pull this down and you put it on there free, and you have a fully self-contained, really high performing. And I don't know how it.
Yeah, Austin has played with this actually. I can tell you for a fact that the local version of this model outperforms GPT-4 and will compete on the level in most tests with GPT-01, but it runs locally, right? And this is just like you sacrifice a bit of response time. But the other neat thing about this that I think people aren't talking about is it being open source. It is now subject to what's called unaligning. There's a researcher who came up with a technique that if you just run this mathematical solution over the weights, it will pattern match and spot places where the weights have been manipulated to say certain things where it should otherwise say the truth.
It's open. That's awesome.
And just wipe it out.
Wow.
You can go get completely unaligned models now that will tell you how to make meth and tell you how to blow up a building and tell you how to become a terrorist or whatever. But we'll also tell you how to compound your own drugs and do things that survivalists would care deeply about.
Wow.
So there's good with bad when it comes to these unaligned models, but it won't be long before this thing's telling you all about Tiananmen Square, I guarantee it.
Wow.
Can I talk about the efficiency real quick? I saw a tweet. It was a thread, and boy, I'm going to really butcher this, but the efficiency of being able to pull the information was fantastic. Yeah, I think it was this guy. The idea was that it relies on, like, say, 5 experts, maybe engineer, medical doctor, whatever, this kind of thing. And rather than OpenAI or Grok, it's expanded over multiple experts. So it's keyed in on just a smaller grouping. So OpenAI is constantly running like 54 billion computations in, a second or something. And this thing is only doing, 6 billion computations per second. So it's taking less energy and it's more efficient. And open source and these kinds of things versus closed source. And it's just fascinating that some engineers came together and said, we could do this better. And it's competition at its best. It's a marketplace of competition is really what it is. Unfortunately, we have, the communist government that is, owner in this as well. But how much different, this sounds really bad. How much different is it when you have someone like, OpenAI, it's now closed, and, someone like Altman and what it's spitting out with its propaganda.
Right. They went from nonprofit to him being a billionaire. Amazing.
Yeah. And there's some really ugliness there about a whistleblower within OpenAI that left and somehow deleted himself.
No, it's okay. Trump appointed him, and they're friends. Didn't you see them on the credenza?
Yeah, I saw that with Ellison. And
Proof that snakes can still make it in,
They're
man.
all good guys.
UBS Bank.
It is Year of the Snake, right? So
But he also put the snake in the sunlight. So,
That's true.
and on the same day that information came out. So
Yeah, that's my hope.
he's continued to do that over and over. So,
That is a fair point.
Yep. And that's the other thing. The market impact of this was massive. I've heard that there are potentially some VCs that are going to go under. I can't. I'm not an accountant, so I cannot claim or pretend to understand the economic machination behind them using NVIDIA cards somehow as collateral for loans. And there's some
sounds like something to be good for NFTs
thing that goes on. Yeah, totally. It sounds like something that Web3 guys would have come up with in the glory days, And I don't know. I'm hopeful that some VCs go under because what they've been doing. This whole thing being pumped up was all obviously artificial.
It was always gatekept information.
I think we do need. I think that me and Lisa talked about
damage,
this
man.
on our show on Tuesday. That we need people to be hurt. We need regular folks to be stung, whether it's a buy or a bail in or something like that, where regular people have, because every time there's a wake up call, more and more people wake up.
Yep.
And I think if people realize that 401ks are a scam, that I have this job because of the benefits. I got the 401k. I get the. If they realize that, they realize the game that's being played, it'll start waking more people up. It'll change things. Like, what do you mean I've lost 30% of what I've saved up? What do you mean I'm like a Venezuelan? What do you mean I'm like one of those countries?
People started seeing that, like just the tip of the iceberg. They started seeing that with the bonds because, they were trusting, I put it in bonds. That's one of the safest things. And then because of the rates and all that, what do you mean I didn't get my check this year or month or 6 months or however long? Because I talked to some people about that, and they were like, when these treasury bonds are failing us, that was supposed to be the safe bet. So if you go to like what Sean's saying, and their 401ks are wiped out because they've been investing in the Chinese commercial market with the teachers fund in California or whatever crazy shit they've been doing, like they'll lose their minds.
Yeah. I don't know if you know about this, but
another issue with 401ks
very recently, but it was like hours ago, about the collaboration of all social media and the letter they signed. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X signed a voluntary commitment to tackle hate speech.
Oh boy.
God.
So I'll read you exactly the wordage. So Facebook, X, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, and other social media platforms all did Den sign?
Kipler did not sign
voluntary commitment to tackle hate speech. That's something. But the next line, the signed voluntary commitment is geared towards making efforts to prevent illegal hate speech as defined by the European Union laws on their platforms. So that's
this kind of coincides with the fact that free speech is.
Can you put that in the chat? Link to that, please. I want to post that and dig into it.
It was the Quartering reported on it. Like I watched it last night, like 3 a.m. Wow. He woke up to put it out. So I'll
That's like a nightmare to keep you up at night.
Yeah, it was
no doubt.
David Freeman had a video about this. He says, we need to have pollution, in the context of this conversation, social pollution, because that social pollution motivates people to do better. And without, a percentage of pollution in society, then we're stagnant and we all go downhill. That's what happened in the USSR.
And that's why you diversify, because if you're not diversifying in some aspect to get away from a polluted culture, then where are you at? You're just going to be stuck in an enmeshed culture that's falling apart because they're doing things like this. They're trying to control and regulate aspects that you can't really control in nature. So you have to figure out a way to find a workaround.
So real quick on that, go back to that last one real fast, Joe.
I don't know if I can find it.
Wanted to point something else out about it. So it was I'll just describe it. It was the one where the letters and numbers were being used to encode responses,
Yes.
and that was a way
I
to
have two
hack
of
the
those.
DeepSeek.
Yeah.
If you actually, by the way, follow that up with a solve the puzzle, it won't catch the filter because you didn't ask about the thing. So it will decode it and write it out proper after it's written it once. If you just access it like you're accessing a text editor and saying correct the English and fix the missing or the incorrect characters, it will come back and just say what you want it to say straight up. So just pro tip for people.
Nice.
You know, Sean, you mentioned something about pain. You know, we're not going to change unless when people pain. It's true. Pain is a force of change, isn't it? Just like knowledge is a force of change. But when you put the knowledge and the pain together, meaning you know the source of the pain, then people will act to change. You know, it's just like, you know, when I do this, my elbow hurts. Well, the doctor says, well, don't do that, right?
Do that, yeah.
And we naturally do that. We naturally go to the path of least resistance, but we still want to know what is the source of the pain. And when I was watching the Texit meeting last night, I was thinking in my back of my head that not enough people are active in this, you know, movement, this grassroots movement, because there's not enough pain in Texas for people to want to change or, you know, exit the system, shall we say, from the federal government and make Texas a nation state again.
Yeah.
That's in the Constitution. So it's about pain. Pain's going to force us into choices. And when we start seeing our 401ks and the bonds collapsing and this kind of thing, that's going to be real pain that's going to force change.
That's true, but if you have economic migration constantly, you know, flooding in new people, then you're not going to be able to express that pain in a concise message where people understand what you're saying.
Agreed.
Because everybody said, "What are you talking about? It's a party. We're all new here. Let's learn the area. Let's, you know."
Yes. What else is there? Other current events.
Oh, Denethor.
Other current events. Anything else? Oh, Trump specifically talking about switching to tariffs. We talked about this a couple weeks ago instead of income tax. How realistic? I mean, not in terms of is it possible? How important is it that he's actually talking about that right now?
I don't know.
I think it's
Colombia.
I think it's good. It's getting people to start really reevaluate the income tax laws and the history of the income tax laws. Is getting people to think about alternative ways to fund the government. But
I think that's cool. I think him talking about killing the IRS is cool. But I also kind of like, I guess it's in a perverse way, that the world is scared of America economically instead of being scared that we'll kill them.
That's a good
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally
Well, I mean, so for economics does
they're
kill.
They're just bullies.
Yeah.
They're just bullies. They'll bomb people. They kill people. They have no heart. This is like
Dude, economics can be a weapon of mass
Yeah.
destruction on a scale that dwarfs nuclear warheads, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what
The
happened
whole
during the
world's-
pandemic.
Yeah.
During the pandemic overreaction.
Look what happened
Like
after
we
World War
literally
II.
we killed people at a scale that we have not killed people. You know, it would take 100 Hiroshimas to do what we did with lockdowns.
They pumped the world.
Here's what my issue with the tariffs is that, you know, when William McKinley was president, we were certainly exporting a lot of goods and materials out of the U.S. We had a strong manufacturing base. We didn't have the regulations on natural resources such as timber and other things that allowed a large export, and to be able to put tariffs. Now that we don't, and we're bigger consumers, that's what worries me on the tariff economic model, and it won't match. But then lastly, I'd like to state that having worked at the border, having been involved in exporting goods into other countries and importing goods into this country, tariffs, no matter what you do, because we would fight with Mexican tariffs, we'd fight with, Guatemalan tariffs, all kinds of things. And no matter what you did as a company that was buying and selling and exporting, importing, whatever you did was you passed on those tariffs to the end user. You had to.
Yep.
Otherwise, you couldn't exist, and you couldn't compete in the world.
So technically, they're a tax on the domestic population.
So the domestic population ultimately pays. Now the question is, will the tariff cost, because they're going to reciprocate, will that tariff cost exceed the amount of cost that we're paying in income taxes? And that's the question that we don't know yet. And secondly, will the Democrats say, okay, great, we'll go with you, Trump, on the tariffs, but on the income tax, we're only going to lower it this much. And now we've added to
it has to be removed. And by the way, everybody always says that. It's like, oh, we don't want to add. It's like, no, this would be instead of, you'd have to get rid of all the other taxes. But the beauty of this is it would, in my opinion, it would probably be preferable to even a national sales tax, which was standalone also, because you get to choose when you pay it. It's like, I'm not going to buy that. I'll buy an American car. Oh, I'll buy an American product, and guess what? All the manufacturing will come back here, right?
So how do we?
But then you
how would we go
tax base,
around?
right?
How do we go around getting rid of the income tax since it's
you end the Fed?
I think we have to get rid of it, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
the IRS.
the 16th Amendment was not ratified correctly anyway.
You just end it.
But,
literally, you end it. You hang whoever you need to hang in the process, but you end it. That's all.
Here's a simple solution.
Does it need to go to the Supreme Court? Is what I'm asking.
It's also the first and only
$1.
system. It's also the first and only system we've ever had that required us to build a mass surveillance state in order to execute it.
Yep.
Right? Like, why on earth would anybody who values free speech and the Fourth Amendment version of privacy want to live in a world where we have to send a document with a whole bunch of details about ourselves to the federal government every year on the year, right? Like, that is mass surveillance, voluntary mass surveillance, and we need to wipe it out. I don't care how we do it.
On the last
that's how it is.
About milk, Joe, I had something to say.
Okay.
Which I said on Tuesday, kind of surprised Lisa, surprised me. Lord Rothschild with the lifetime, seat in the House of Lords. He only spoke on 2 occasions.
Yep.
One was about settling Israelis into
that they created Israel.
Palestine.
They were
British-owned Palestine is when
that they created Israel.
The first time is to settle the 100,000 Jews into the British-owned Palestine, and the second time was about milk pasteurization.
Yeah,
that's
Why
it.
Is that?
He cared. That was the question. Why did he care as much about getting a Jewish state?
And why is everybody lactose intolerant now?
Because Israel is a Rothschild colony.
You can become tolerant again.
And now they're going after the Amish for selling raw milk, and they're trying to make raw milk. It's like a huge thing. And this is something that people don't look into, which is another thing about the tariffs thing. It's people. Nobody knew all the stuff we get from Colombia until they're like, well, we'll put tariffs on you. Like, who cares? It's just some coffee. And then we see everything we get from Colombia is like, oh crap, we get a lot of stuff from Colombia, and then they back down. But it's still, I don't know, it's bringing people a better understanding, I think, of our interactions, and also with Greenland. I think we should hit Greenland. People are talking about all us buying Alaska, and this country bought this, and the Danes bought this, and whenever countries buy countries or land, do you know what they pay for it with? Even in more modern times, gold. They don't ever pay in currency. All the purchases that I've seen, it's like this country paid this country, and they sold it for this much money in gold bullion.
Now, crypto could work for selling countries. You could actually use crypto for that. Because it would have a similar kind of immutability.
Yeah.
Because really it's about not being able to take back the transfer.
I have a new topic to talk about.
Okay.
How about Trump wanting to reduce the size of the workforce and federal workers and offering them a severance
That was
package to
Mhm.
pay them till the end of September?
I'm against the
Pay them
severance
to the end
package.
of September.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
The money's
Severance
already
package
been
is genius.
budgeted for that.
I know it's
Yeah.
genius. I know. I'm against it though, but I get it. It's like, yeah, I think it should be 6 months. I don't. I
You
think
get them to
you put
voluntarily
enough
leave,
fear in
man.
them. 3 months is enough. They're still going to do it. Why? It's like I might as well
I
get my
think
3
they should
months.
just be fired. They
Because
should
right
be
now,
fired.
you
No,
think
no
every
benefits. Just
I'll bet you
fired.
Liz
you
Warren
lay 'em
shit a turkey when she heard the incentive package come out.
Every
Because
single one of them is sitting
Voluntarily
on
employing
a
their greed to make them leave
lifetime
is
job.
genius.
They have a lifetime job where they get rights. They can go walk around the grounds in the federal facility. They can go do all these things. They get paid after they retire. They get paid. Then they also
Right.
get hired by IBM because they brought IBM contracts while they were working for the government.
But they've also been trained
of
through
them, yeah.
unions to view themselves
And
as adversarial to their employer.
He did say that it was illegal to have that in that issue or whatever. He was like, and we're going to have them either sign a statement or they're going to do some kind of investigation. I can't remember the details. Where if they hold another job somewhere, it's illegal for them to be working for the government and have another job.
Moonlighting.
So they have to prove their income. That was it. They had to prove their that they
That's cool.
weren't receiving other income or something like this during this last time where they haven't been showing up for work.
Wow.
And so if any of them have been holding another job, but then getting their government pay on the side,
They won't be
it's
eligible,
illegal.
right?
And so then they'll be
Yeah.
fired by their own.
So it would have captive contracts.
Can I give you an example? Here's a
Bet that
funny
happens a lot.
example. There's a DoD department that had recently. Now they all need to return back to their office and work. They
Mhm.
can't remote, right? Well, since the great infection, the department had something like 33, 34 people in it. Well, now there are 120 something people in that department, but there's only 33 or 34, whatever that number is, cubicles. So they
I wonder
don't
how many of
have
them
the
got invited
ability
to-
to all go to the office and work.
No.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder
they
how
had
many
the
of them.
FDA,
I wonder how many of them
they
got
got a-
invited to revenue share on X.
Did you hear the USDA chick that wouldn't
Many.
she got fired and then wouldn't leave? And they had to physically
Trap.
remove her by security.
Mhm.
So to
Because they're
speak.
like, he's like, you're
Oh, I
fired.
saw
Like,
that. That
no,
was
not.
awesome. Man,
Just went to work, wouldn't
they
leave.
should have that on film though.
This was
Yeah.
good this past weekend. The Colombia.
Columbia, yeah.
Yeah, the
This one.
yeah.
Returned in his own presidential plane was used. The Colombian president's plane. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of wild, right?
That
On
was
a Sunday. On a
Land.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the first fight, and then it was like, he's like 25% tariffs, and Columbia's like, we'll put 25% tariffs on you. We don't care. We're going to fight. And he goes, oh, and it's 25% a day after. And they literally were like, would you like us to send a plane? It was
This is
that
my
fast.
president's plane.
It was that fast.
Yup.
Wow.
Well, they're
Gulf
starting
of
to-
Ameri-
America,
great threat.
baby.
Well, I
They're
mean, and that's
certainly
to the Emperor's earlier point.
Oh,
I
that
think
was
that's one reason not to worry so much about the consumer element of the United States being greater, right? I think that's actually what makes the tariff threat that much worse, right? If you tariff somebody out of the U.S. market, you close half of their industries to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They'd have to pay attention. That's why I mean it's good leverage, and
I
it's,
agreed.
I think we should just do that. Just get you have to get rid of all the other taxes,
Right.
You know?
So
And,
long
and
as
by the
we
way, it
don't-
would also shrink the U.S. government. Like
On that beautiful
I
girl
think-
thing, though, Colombian women have said that they won't stop having sex with American men tourists. That's a real
they
thing.
would.
There's a movement.
Well, shoot.
I think they tried
Let's
that.
go to
movement-
Colombia.
didn't they?
I bet you it's sort of like the one that happened after the election, where everybody who agreed to that pledge was really not objectionable. You know, it's like,
all right, so here's one
okay,
of the Litecoin. This one was awesome, and the other one they said that gold never acted what was it? Gold and silver. It was.
Who is that? Because that's not the foundation.
I don't know. It's Litecoin. I don't know. It's funny.
At Litecoin.
I like it. The other one was something about gold never treated was so bitchy at silver. It's funny. I was like, I like it.
Well, actually, the bimetalists were targeted pretty aggressively by the gold bugs back in the
in the old days. Definitely. Yep. Apparently, did you guys know that is what Wizard of Oz was supposed to have been centered around? That is the symbolism there.
Yeah,
it was a story about bimetallism.
We talk about that. I've talked about that on my show several times with Skullcap Savant. He does a whole like V-steg thing, and then I was telling him the Z-steg, which JFK Jr. had the Z on his arm with his tattoo with the dagger through it and all that. And then recently there was a movie that came out, a Batman movie, but they Oswald Copperbutt or something. I don't know.
Cobblepot.
There you go.
Cobblepot, yeah.
They call him Oz in the movie. Like there's so much.
Yeah.
All these columns and.
By the way, the Penguin show is one of the greatest shows ever written.
I want to watch that. I've not watched it.
It is.
Colin Farrell's maybe the best. It's one of the best performances in cinematic history.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I would say that.
That's weird.
Although you watch a lot of stuff that I wouldn't want to watch, so I don't know.
I just have to throw in real fast that if anybody looks up this game and wants to play it on like extreme difficulty, the key is to get 20 oxen, set the pace to grueling, and leave in winter with nothing but ammunition.
Yes.
And if you can make it all the way, then you're a badass.
I'm gonna do that now. On my little organ, I got the Oregon Trail like handheld, so now I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna buy a bunch of ammunition.
I need to look
ammunition
that
and oxen and leave.
That's all I'm gonna do. I bet I make it too. I bet
if you do it at grueling pace, you get a multiplier.
Is it standalone handheld?
That is the thing, though, man. Like the kids these days, they wouldn't make it past the Kansas River. Pussies.
Yep. Kids these days.
I'm going back to that.
I never played.
You get one oxen and nothing but food.
You guys know. I feel like I missed out, but I never played that. I played Zork and stuff like that. So, let's see here. Yeah, Bitcoin. Oh, here's some more DeepSeek and Sam Altman bits.
Oh.
What kind of car does he drive? I've seen him in that crate. He was in this nonprofit organization driving that really.
Yeah. I'm sure it's close.
Exotic white car.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't know.
Anyway,
you wouldn't download a car.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, we have 3D printers, so actually, maybe you
could.
Shit,
that's another thing. They're looking at background checks before you're allowed to buy a 3D printer.
Stupid.
What?
Yeah,
it's probably for the guns.
And getting
those guns.
Yeah,
they're just worried somebody's going to pick up my plan to replace all kitchen cabinetry. The kitchen cabinetry mafia is coming for them because if you could just 3D print all your plates and throw them in dirty back into the feedstock, then you wouldn't need storage.
No,
very Star Trek idea.
That reminds me, when
now it's out there.
When I worked at the video store back in the 90s, right?
Blockbuster?
And everything else. No, Hastings. If you're in the Midwest.
Hastings.
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't a Hollywood video kind of guy?
Dude, that was a fun time.
You weren't a movie guy? You weren't a movie gallery type of guy?
So it was great though because they had music and they had books and they had videos, right?
Nice.
So it was the perfect place for and people would hang out there and stuff back in the day, pre-internet, and
pre-Uber CD.
You know how if you remember,
Uber.
They would always tell you, "Be kind, please rewind." Right? They would want you to rewind, and they would sometimes some places would fine you or give you a red mark if you didn't. Why would they have never just flipped it, said, "Do not rewind it"? because it would force before I watch the movie. I always expect I'm going to have to rewind it. That's a better design.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was kind of a worthless comment, but
No, that would have been way better.
Did you guys know?
You could have saved their business model for like a year with that.
yeah,
In Asia, you can't, like, even in a like a bazaar or market, you can't buy a kitchen knife. They are serial numbered, and your house has to register.
That's weird.
Just like a gun.
England?
So that the government knows how many knives you have. That's
That's
a
ridiculous.
real thing. Like in China, in Vietnam.
That's
'cause
bizarre.
The boys were
is.
that's
in
bizarre.
England, I think, right?
The boys told me
Although
that
I
the
guess
last
in
time they
places where your martial arts are good enough.
went. But like
Well,
in
You can make a knife out of anything.
in Europe,
Yeah.
it's all about knife
It's a
crime,
shank.
knife crime. And it's so when I hear about the you have to have a license and get registered to buy a 3D printer, it's not that shocking. It's definitely not shocking to like Europeans or Asians.
Man, we need to go buy
Unfree peoples of the world, we need to bring you
Well,
3D
and-
printers.
when we need to print a bunch of drones and not be registered with the FAA on
Dude,
3D
what if you
printed drones,
packaged
right?
a drone that was a 3D printer, and you could just circulate a fleet
very
of
good.
them, such that
It could go.
you
it
could call
fly
them
around and print stuff.
over a decentralized network.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
you could
That's
actually have a
something,
pirate
that's
3D
something
printer
about
fleet.
Ukraine that is crazy. That is,
Drones.
it's like Canada was rounding up and taking people's guns and then sending them to Ukraine. They were saying guns are bad, don't want guns, guns are wrong. We need to take them and send them over to Ukraine because they need guns because guns are good over there. It's the same, that logic. Like they're like, oh, that's wrong, it's bad. But whenever like printing, there's so many entrepreneurs in Ukraine, but they're patriots. But they're doing that. They're printing small drones with 3D printers and they're just making, and they're giving them to the military, selling them for like cheap prices. And that's how they're like a lot of women, because they're not on the front lines, they're not fighting, but they're making drones. I mean, it's a huge industry because they can't keep up with how many they need. And regular people are making small drones. Ordering the parts in China, getting them sent by Amazon, and they're building these drones. Whereas, like you're making a joke, like it would be considered illegal and bad in most Western places, but wherever the shit has hit the fan, it's like, oh, now it's good here. This is why it's important, and no one makes that point. This is why it's important. This is why nobody invaded Switzerland.
Exactly.
Because everyone is armed. That's why, people haven't invaded openly in the United States, because everyone is armed.
Mm-hmm.
Are
I
you
think
implying
that-
the 1776 will commence again?
Oh, there's Alex. There's the real Alex Jones. How you doing, Alex?
What do you guys think about
Alex.
the strategic Bitcoin reserve versus crypto reserve? There's been I don't pay attention to that stupid drama on Twitter, but I think it's funny. So
I've
anyway.
been Bitcoin maximalist since the beginning.
That's good. That's really good.
Hey, we should
Nice
have
to
a
see
talk
you
about
back,
it
Alex.
with each other, Alex.
Why?
I do.
Hey, hold up! I got a question for Alex Jones. Why are you
Go
going to
ahead.
Washington?
I'm gonna
What's
be,
going on in Washington?
I'm going to be the press secretary.
Because
thought you already
bathing in
had
a
a
swamp is good for your skin. That's why you gotta try my new line.
Oh my god.
He's
Okay,
gonna be.
that's
He's
fine.
gonna be
All the way
the
up.
very best. He's gonna be the very best press secretary I've ever had. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I love Alex Jones. You are awesome.
Are
You
we
are
gonna
the
talk
very
about
best.
the new McAfee project?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the, yeah.
what-
I-
the
what?
answer.
Yeah,
He's just gonna
Janice
talk
did
over him.
a video with Rice Crypto. Tell me about it.
Well, it's did you watch? Okay,
I didn't
people
watch the
involved
video
in it.
myself.
Janice is a lovely person, and I love Janice. John, love John. Trust John, trust Janice. Other people that are involved in the project, I don't really know that well, but Rice does and has told me certain things about them. So I was on the you were there. I am.
Yeah,
I was on for a little bit. They had, for some reason, they're trying to get me on the whole time, and it wouldn't allow me to get on the space till towards the end. But I said, look, I basically said that statement. I want to make sure that John's name is protected and not used as a cash grab, and their whole argument, because we were asking, why are you bringing Janice into these things now? And they were like, Trump coin made it like, so like, we're okay now. We don't think she's going to get in trouble. They're going to go after her. It was all Trump Melania coin, which, I mean, that kind of makes okay sense. But then when I really think about it, those people always never have consequences. And it's, they could still go after other people if they want to, but it's an interesting project. And then the spaces did a lot. It answered a lot of questions because there was some animosity between like Ghost, this new one, and Whacked. And they're talking about bringing communities together, creating something for John's legacy where everything that he had worked on is being brought together. So I think there's a move to do that. I'm going to talk to, do some interviews with them, and find out more about that, and maybe even get involved a little bit. But I thought it was very interesting. I didn't think it was hacked. People were like, I thought his account was hacked when it first came out. They are talking about building this AI and having it as an AI of John that you could talk to and converse with, and which is interesting. It's not. There was a couple companies that were working on this years ago, where like if I was going to die, I would go and interact with this AI like for hours a day for however long, and it would learn so much about me that when I died, my family could go talk to me, my avatar, and then it would be very like I could tell super secret stuff, and they would.
Dude, I had this idea back in 2020.
But it was it's basically like saving your your memories and then creating an avatar of yourself that your family can interact with, which was kind of cool, I thought. And then it was $250,000.
Wow.
For you to do it. It was up to like $500,000. Like a cheap one would be like it was $100,000. They were very expensive.
Deep State can do it for $5.
Well, okay, so fun story. Actually, this idea goes back to 2018. There was a guy that I used to work with at the state of Indiana where they basically walked me quietly out the door for saying AI was going to be huge. They thought it was crazy back then still. I was trying to push the tech that way, and they were like, "No, we don't need to know anything about that. That's just pie in the sky nonsense." Well, as it turns out, one of
AI will make the frogs gay.
A couple years later, when this project gets announced, like, you came up with that idea.
Conservative
so I got to call that one first, man.
Yeah, conservative progressivism. That's Indiana.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep. By the way, if you've ever read anything on the government website for the legislation there,
It's horrible.
My design,
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I got a topic. First of all, it was Roger Vere's birthday a few days ago, right?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Roger.
Elon tweeted about Roger Vere's case and said,
that was horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Membership has its privileges. He renounced citizenship. He's no longer a citizen. Therefore, he doesn't get a pardon. Horrible take, uneducated take, an ignorant take on Roger's case.
It's nasty. It's bad.
Wrong.
There's a time and a place to be rigid about things. This is not the time and place to do it.
Right.
Yep.
Plus, there's been a lot of pardons that have been given to those who weren't U.S. citizens by various presidents.
Yeah, but it seems it's on brand for the kind of the MAGA movement. It is, it's easy to get people. When it's all or nothing, it's easy to understand black and white.
Right.
It's easy to say, you don't like it, get the hell out of here. It's easy to say, if you don't have anything to hide, there's no reason you wouldn't mind us taking a look. It's, you know what I mean? The extremism is so much easier to put out there. It's so much easier for most people to swallow, especially if you don't want to be a critical thinker. And I mean, and look any deeper.
Yeah.
So,
Great point.
And I hate, that Veer is in the same jail John was.
Yeah.
He was in the same jail. I mean, there's so many similarities, and in that spaces we touched on the Spanish government, and people don't really talk about Spain. Spain's like a Texas. It's an anomaly. It is a little fascist. It's a little communist. It's a little heavy-handed. It's a little bit EU. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have a good friend that I've been friends with for 35 years. That is, the beer commercial is the most interesting man alive. That's my friend. He's a rock star. He's a huge lawyer. He is one of the top he brought American football to Spain, and he was one of the top football players. He races Ducatis, just the coolest dude you could imagine. And I said, hey, I want you to help my friend who's in jail, and I gave him all the information on John's case. And he was a different person the next time I talked to him. He's like, hey, man, this is fucking Spain. This isn't some third world country, man. This isn't bull. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Well, calm down. Are you able? Can you get anything done just to get him out of jail? Out of so he can, be and get him on, house arrest or something. And he was just rattled and angry, different person. So it's always been something weird. And Spain,
angry at you, or angry that he couldn't do anything?
Angry at me. He was angry, just angry. And it was whether he was scared or but he was he was a different person when I talked to him. And he was pissed about the situation. But it was almost creeped me out, man. I haven't talked to him much since then.
Wow.
So
that's not good.
No, and I love Spain. Spain's my second favorite country. It's really.
Really?
Yeah. It's beautiful and, fun. It's like Italy. Well, I'm Italian, but I like Spain more than Italy.
So I misspoke earlier. I actually went on iga.in.gov real fast just to see if my old design was still there, and they changed it, and it sucks now. So the earlier statement retracted. If you want to see what I actually originally designed, you may not be able to, but if you want to, you have to go to the Wayback Machine. Sorry.
Nice.
It's way worse, way less informative.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what we need to do is, if Elon has Musk's ear and we got a roadblock there, maybe we need to use Barron and connect with Barron, and Barron get to Trump about Roger Ver's case. Because if Trump doesn't know enough about Roger Ver's case and the lawfare aspects and because he saw Ross Ulbricht as getting unfair treatment, unfair sentence, and he might see the same with that. So maybe we need to challenge, kind of move our efforts that way towards Barron.
That's a good idea.
I know.
Barron's an interesting kid, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Because I don't know if you know Kai Trump. She's Eric's daughter. Literally one of the most adorable kids I've ever seen. It's
teenagers,
odd.
Really sharp.
Real sharp, but just like cute.
She spoke right after he was
assassinated
to defend her grandpa.
Well, my grandpa's president again, so we're gonna do. She's just so adorable. And Barron, I watched this lip reader, and I actually believe what he said.
Yeah,
he said when he shook Biden's hand, he said, "It's on."
That's what it looked like.
And then he went over to Melania, and she looked at him and she said, "Try to be nice." And it was like, I was like, that is what he said. That is that it matched up. I don't know. I think Barron's an interesting person.
Yeah, I think he's based. I think he's got good things coming. Hopefully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Anyway,
Well, he seems to. If you look at the text of the crypto order, like if you actually look at the text of it, you can tell that whoever's talking in his ear is saying stuff that's smart, because the way that described itself was precise in a way that I would say blockchain developers can appreciate.
I was
Which
watching
is,
the
is not
Tom
something I
Woods
expected.
Tom Woods show this morning with an interview with Angelina Cardle, who just stepped down for the Libertarian National Convention, Libertarian Party, and she was saying, she updated. She was talking about the tweet from Elon about Roger Ver, and at the end of the episode, she said that they know about what Elon said, but there are still a lot of people behind the scenes trying to push to get him to all the charges dropped and everything. So it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Good.
yep. All right. Okay, so we have 15 minutes left. Do we have any other current events we want to cover?
We covered
Anybody
a
out
lot.
there?
We have.
Cover a lot.
Anybody in the chat out there watching, post a quick current events question, and you'll get your panel of experts to answer.
Yep.
The new press secretary, she seems all right.
I don't even know the name. I've
I
seen
don't
a
either.
couple of clips, right? So
Swung for the Fences got a home run the first time I saw it. I saw
Yeah.
excerpts of it.
yeah, I saw the one on who they're going to deport or how do these people.
We didn't
have-
talk about the F-35 crash in Alaska.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
That was crazy looking.
Another one,
Yeah.
$87 million.
Those planes go down, man. The F-35 was.
Maybe
a
we
joke,
should
man.
stick to Maybe we should stick to what F-15s.
No, they should have had.
Yeah,
They
well-
should have just doubled down on making F-22s. I know they were
Yeah,
expensive,
F-22s.
but they
Drones.
worked.
We,
They
we didn't
They
talk
did
about
work.
we didn't talk about how
That's what it
Pelosi
is.
sold 10,000
We
shares.
spent
of
so
Nvidia
much
stock.
developing the F-35. We could have
right
bought how
before
many
it
F-22s
crashed.
by now?
It was
I didn't
probably a
talk about
Chinese
the Fed
infiltration.
rate either. The Fed
10,000 shares
cutting it.
right before it crashed.
Yeah.
And
They were
something
like,
I
surely
thought
we can
Wow.
develop the
was
F-22 better this
interesting,
time.
and that I thought RFK or
Conversation.
somebody would make the point that they're like, because Warren was like, "You're going to make money. You better promise you're not going to make money." It was all about making money, and no one said, "How come nobody has to answer for how much money you guys make in Congress?
Yeah.
Why do you get paid, $100,000-$200,000, and within 4 years you're worth hundreds of millions? Like,
Yep.
why don't you have to
Insider
explain?
trading. They
Drifting.
can't be charged with insider trading. It's the most obvious unconstitutional situation there might be with the leadership. It's crazy.
But the
But is it
hypocrisy of them
unconstitutional?
screaming, I mean, all the memes of them screaming at Hegseth, him, everybody, and they're not, like, literally, the pots are just screaming how black the kettle is, and no one's calling that out.
Yeah.
Hang them
You
all.
see, they
Burn 'em all.
acknowledge the
Yeah.
also in federal aviation creations. You see, they actually finally acknowledged the Aurora program existed.
Oh,
Clint's
yeah.
got it right.
Oh,
Clint's
no,
got
I
it right, and so does George Carlin.
Because it's now
it's a big club, and
obsolete.
you ain't in it.
Yep.
The Aurora project announced because it's obsolete. Are we out of
Yeah.
time,
Yep.
Joe? Do we need to jump into?
12 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, it's like carriers, fighter jets. Are they going? I don't know that in an actual war. How is all this going to pan out? It's going to be interesting.
Hegseth made the
we'll
point
just-
that only like 12% of our jets work,
I
or
believe
it
it.
was something. It was some crazy number.
We have drones now.
They always
we didn't- we
Yeah, we
didn't
have
talk
drones.
about North Korea
We need those.
getting a nuclear
Right,
submarine.
Lisa.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that's like a huge thing.
Yeah,
A swarm of
North Korea has
nanodrones
a
is a way
nuclear
scarier
submarine
weapon in the air when you think about
that
it.
can
Yep.
shoot
yeah.
nuclear missiles. They got it from Russia. That's a huge power shift.
Who got it?
hmm
North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
North Korea.
I don't know. I'm not. No matter what the media in Hollywood do, I've never really been that scared of that dude.
I never was
Oh, yeah.
either until
You're
I
not.
think he paid for this nuclear sub with 10,000 or more North Koreans to Russia, sending them over there,
Hmm.
and he basically cemented the deal. Hey, we're buddies forever. We're BFFs. and I think he got a nuclear sub out of the deal. So he is a crazy guy now with a nuclear sub. That to me is a little bit.
Oh
scary.
dear leader. Oh dear great leader.
Our son.
Well, you know, a nuclear
We're gonna have to
sub
send
that's not
Dennis
nuclear
Rodman over
armed
there
is
again,
a
aren't
little
we?
bit of a different
Yeah.
proposition. So he
Yeah.
could be riding
Hot
around
coin.
in it, but
Yeah, Dennis Rodman
I'm-
might have probably saved the Earth at some
Hey,
point.
Dennis Rodman's gonna have to save the earth.
Yeah.
it's
Who
it's
would've thought that?
the people's
Right.
the People's Democratic Navy's first ship will be the PDM Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yeah, that would be
Powered by
cool, wouldn't it?
Popcoin.
Yes, he's a big fan of Trump too. So that was another. It's like
Actually, I think Trump's a big fan of him. Honestly,
Yeah, well, there's some good memes and stuff.
I don't.
Too.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
him
on
really
current
cares.
events, this World Blockchain
Give me
Roundtable
foreign
just
aid.
created a lot of meme coins, didn't we? Ideas for meme coin.
Yes. Okay. So, William, what's going on this week?
Well, let's see. First of all, Lisa and I had a really interesting show. We kind of talked about current events this past Monday. Thank you very much, Lisa.
That was
And
great.
a lot going on Din.social. Guess what? Your emperor of Din Social, the Din DAO, is having a meeting today at 2 p.m., which is
That's right.
8 p.m. UTC today. Tune in. We're going to talk about Din Social and current events, and we're going to do the Din State of the Union speech, as well as talk about other topics. So join us there.
Right on,
Zach's giving him his heart.
Lisa.
Yeah, Roman salute without the second half.
There you
Maybe
go.
we do two hands.
It's like they have at the elf salute. I think they did this and then did this or something. That's what I heard. It's like there was some weird thing I
You have
watched.
to wear that little apron when you do it, though. A little
Lord of
funny.
the Rings elves. I was thinking like it's because we're talking about Santa in the beginning.
No.
I go to the elf salute.
Yeah, apparently so. I learned that on YouTube at some point. At least anyway.
Anyway,
Go ahead, Lee.
great show with I Am on Monday. Had a great show with Sean on Tuesday, and Wednesday took the day off. Ran around. Was actually present with my family. My son won the most original project for science fair, voted by the People's Choice, which means other mid and high schoolers.
Oh,
Nice.
That's
those,
my big
at least
one.
those votes aren't fixed. The other ones are usually fixed.
Yeah, this is of the people. So I was
Way to
pretty
go,
proud.
Canada.
That's great.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right,
That is awesome.
Zach.
Check out the Legacy Ride tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Whatever the world time is, I don't know what I think that's 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Who knows? 7 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, X, Rumble. We're gonna have Rachel Sunshine on and Sal the Agorist coming to town.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So,
Right on.
Oh.
Excellent. Greg.
All right, just going to take a moment to redirect everybody back to that open letter. Go check it out, sign it, and keep an eye out for that letter writing bot. That's going to be cool. My challenge to you with that is to come up with the silliest way you can have it write a letter. Like tell it you're interested in, how much nitrogen is in hot dogs, and see what Dragon Chin can do for you, because that might be interesting. So.
Very good point.
Anyway, guys, check this out. Put your signatures on it. Help us fight this fight. We're going to change the history of blockchain in America.
Right on. Andrew.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna put him over real quick. Free Ross, Free Roger. I'm sorry.
Free.
I got Free
You're
Ross.
so used to saying
Free Roger. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Free Ross, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's already free now, so we need to push for Roger now. So go ahead and go sign the petition you have, and then let's get it taken care of.
Yep.
Sign
it was nice hearing him talk about how grateful he was and how it was hit you in the feels. It did.
Yep. Sean's
about to be busy. I'm shooting for a lot of interviews, getting a lot of people to come on. I haven't been focusing on growth as much, and I got like 25 or 30 followers on Twitter just from going on at Spaces and talking for a couple minutes. So I'm gonna try to reach out to some big influencers in different areas, like I used to, just to try to throw a wide net to talk to people and to kind of bring crypto into the conversation. Also going to be giving away a few $10,000 trading accounts for people interested in number go up. And I might start a series on trading for the regular guy.
Cool.
That's about it. Go check out. I think check out the AI John project and sign the Dragon Chain letter. Also, I didn't know about the Elon tweet, which I think is very bad. I think it's really, really bad. I think you should go and comment on that. Anyone and everyone just comment. Actually, leave a comment on how needs to take a second look at it, especially being, someone from a different country and African American in the United States. He should take a look at why Roger did it, especially at the time that he did it, and seeing what was coming.
It's a 20-minute video. It's spare 20 minutes.
Yep. Worth 20 minutes of your time for sure.
Definitely.
Cool. And for me, I'd ask everybody to go sign the letter again. Make American blockchain great again. And essentially, I mean, we've already gotten. It looks like we have people from all over the world. Some people from Australia, Cyprus, a bunch of states. We have LA, we have New York, we have UK already. Just since we just released it at the beginning of the show, so
You should have just got one from Oklahoma.
really. Oh, yes, I'll have to refresh. So anyway, so thanks for doing that if you have already, but and we'll get the other stuff out, and there will be more letters coming, and because some of them might be more appropriate to share with different people, the ones on innovation or legal or the history might be more appropriate depending on who you're talking to. So we'll get all that stuff out.
Expect the Federalist Papers, man. Yeah. This is the blockchain's Federalist Papers.
It's important because we have to get this Federalist out of the way, then we can. Really build.
Decentralist, I guess.
Anti-Federalist Papers.
So anyway, thanks everybody for joining, and I guess we will see you all next week. I can't remember what does anybody know what the topic is next week?
Ooh, I'm amiss. I did not look today. But
Rough,
to this topic, please share.
You're transitioning. You're transitioning, William.
All right. All right. We will see you all next week. Thanks much, guys.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.